Hey yo, what's going on everybody? It's Tylarious, aka Ty Killington. Yeah, man. Alright, we got some big news in the gaming world today. We now have a comparison between PS5 and the Xbox Scarlet or X series or whatever you want to call it. We now have a comparison with some of the specs on there. There's still a lot to be announced, right? But we have a good idea of what's going on, and we'll talk about this a little bit. And we'll talk about, which one you should buy, which one you should go with, all that good stuff, all right? So let's go ahead and just get right into it. That was some sick driving right there. Thread the needle, baby. Thread the needle. All right, here we go. Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. These stats right here are going to be pretty much the meat and potatoes of the performance of the consoles. Now, there's still a lot of stuff, like I said, that's to be announced that we need to talk about in the future that will really make a determining factor for a lot of people in regard to sharing and streaming and things like that. So, but without further ado, let's go ahead and dig right into the information that we have. Okay, so the Xbox Series X CPU. We're looking at 8 Zen 2 cores at 3.8 gigahertz with 3.6 gigahertz with SMT. For the PlayStation 5, we have 8 Zen 2 cores at 3.5 gigahertz with variable frequency. The GPU on the Xbox Series X, we're looking at 12 teraflops at 52 compute units at 1.825 gigahertz, custom RDNA 2. On the PlayStation 5 side, we're at 10.28 teraflops at 36 compute units at 2.23 gigahertz every time. With variable frequency. Now, if you do the math, it's basically about 94 gigahertz of GPU power versus about 80 with the PlayStation 5. That's what it equals out to be. So with the memory, the RAM, we're looking at 16 gigabytes GDDR6, and with the PlayStation 5, 16 gigabytes GDDR6 at 256 bits. All right. The memory bandwidth we're looking at on the Xbox Series X, 10 gigabytes at 560 gigabytes a second and 6 gigabytes at 336 gigabytes a second. On the PlayStation 5, they pretty much cut the difference in the middle and keep it, uniform at 448 gigabytes a second, which is either one of those, numbers. Even the low end on the Xbox Series X, those are all smoking. It's a really fast there. So the optical drive, we're looking at 4K UHD Blu-ray drive for the Series X, and the same for the PlayStation 5 4K UHD Blu-ray drive. Internal storage with the Xbox Series X, we have 1 terabyte of custom NVMe non-volatile memory express solid state drive SSD. And with the PlayStation 5, we have 825 gigabytes of solid state drive. I don't know why they just didn't go for the terabyte. Maybe it is a terabyte, but they're saying what we can actually use is 825 gigs, because we all know it doesn't matter what size of hard drive they give you. There's always some that's reserved for the console. So the Xbox may say 1 terabyte, but it may be the same thing, that you can only use like about 825 gigs because certain amount is used for the console itself. So maybe a little bit of trickery on Xbox's part there, but we'll have to wait and find out. With the expandable storage, this is a big deal because we know new games coming out are going to be well over 100 gigabytes of data. With the Xbox, it's a proprietary 1 terabyte expansion card. Plus, I'm sure you can add an external drive as well. With the PlayStation 5, it is a NVMe SSD slot, so probably the same as it is now at the PS4. You can pop it open, put in a new card, a new memory card, and then also put in some external at the same time. Let's look at some more features we got here. Price to be announced, release date holiday 2020. Optical drive, we talked about that. The RAM, we talked about that. The memory bandwidth, we went over that a little bit. And then what kind of, I don't know, piques my interest here is going to be the GPU. The GPU with the Xbox One is a little bit better than the PlayStation 5, but it is very, very, it's hard to notice that. Yeah, I mean, unless you're staring at the beard of, playable characters and things like that, you can pick out the hairs. You're not going to notice it that much. You have to have the right TV too. But I'm curious to why PlayStation just didn't go ahead and bump it up to what it needed to be, but, whatever. You got some peak GPU shader throughput right here. A little bit, we got some information from Xbox on that. The data transfer speed is interesting. It's a little bit stronger with the PlayStation, so that's pretty cool right there. A few other things as well. But as you see here, a lot of stuff is to be announced, to be decided, right? We get a little bit more information from Xbox, talking about the backwards compatibility, a little bit deeper with the Xbox. That makes sense because they control all their stuff. You know what I mean? That's all proprietary. The game, the cloud services are going to be picked up with Xbox as well, and of course PlayStation is going to be doing that too. Big thing with the controller. Thank God, finally, PlayStation is going to the USB Type C charger. God, that's going to make it so much nicer. It really will. So AV hookups you see right here. Got some information. The Bluetooth. PlayStation also is enhancing the sound quality. They're going to be doing 3D audio. I've like listened to 3D audio. It kind of, unless I just haven't got used to it, it kind of annoys me because it kind of goes back and forth from left to right ear. So I'm not really sure how that's going to be a selling point because, I'm using a headphone. I just want the regular DTS, Dolby Digital, DDS, Dolby Digital Surround Sound, that's all. I don't need anything else. I don't need anything special. So that's just, whatever for me. But for some people, audiophiles, they'll definitely like that. So the big question, though, Ty, which one should I buy? So listen, it's kind of like iPhone versus Samsung, Coke versus Pepsi, right? It's the brand that you're most comfortable with. The performance on paper is going to be better with the Xbox. When you actually get them side by side, it's going to be a very minute difference. From my calculations, we're talking about probably about a 12% performance, 12 to 15% performance increase with the Xbox, but that doesn't really translate to a whole bunch on the screen. The memory speed is going to be probably the same, maybe a little bit better with the PlayStation because of what we saw with the data transfer, the information, and they don't have a variable, clock rate or whatever. They don't have for 10 gigs, so many gigs a second or whatever. It's just, solid. It's just all the way through. So that may make a little bit different. But I think that the Xbox Series X is going to sell a lot better than the Xbox One did. I think this next gen race will be much closer. But it's still going to be a lot for Xbox to get out of the hole because we know that the PlayStation, the PS4 has sold almost 3 times as many units as the Xbox One. So you have that loyal player base. You have that already there. And what it looks like that PlayStation is doing is the same thing they did last year. A little bit less, performing device on paper, but a solid unit. The user interface is solid. The overall experience, the console itself is solid. It's expandable. You can, it's so there, and plus the price point is probably going to be lower. I bet you they're waiting, with the extra stuff. Xbox will come out probably at 500, maybe 600, and the PlayStation will be like 500 or 400, a little bit cheaper, but 100. That's what I would assume. That's what they did last, or with the last console, the last gen. It was about $100 cheaper than the Xbox, and that made a big difference. Parents don't give a shit about graphics processing and CPU and teraflops. They care about flip-flops on their vacation. How do they get to that vacation? They save $100 cash money by buying their kid the PlayStation over the Xbox. But if they're able to make a unit that is better performing, even though it's minute, some people really do take that. I'm one of those guys. I do like the little bit extra. You know what I mean? But I'm a loyal PlayStation fan. I've been with PlayStation for a long time. It's just recently, I've been with the Soldier Boy Slim. But anyways, though, but seriously though, so it's brand loyalty. It's what you're comfortable with, the user interface. Because the Xbox user interface is alien to me. I'm not a big fan of it. But if that's what I grew up on, then the PlayStation interface would be alien to me. So, I do like some of the moves that Xbox is making with the performance. They do have more customizable options with the controllers. They do have more proprietary features, though, and that means that only Xbox will work with the Xbox stuff. So it kind of forces you to buy their stuff, which I don't like that. But it's a business move, so I understand it. I don't like it, but I do understand it. So, if you're trying to answer the question, which one should I buy? It's gonna come down to a few variables. What your loyalty is to the product, the purchasing power. Is it you buying it? Do you have disposable income? Does that $100, does that mean that you can, do you need to save that? That's going to be a big deal. If the pricing is different, now, if they are the same price, I see Xbox probably winning the console war on this if they can have a better performing system. I really do. So, and if it is noticeable, if we get comparisons out, because I've seen these comparison videos, and I'm like, dude, I don't even see the difference. And in some cases, I think the PlayStation looks better anyways. with the color and things like that, and the resolution. So if it is a noticeable difference at the same price point, I definitely think Xbox could win this out. But is it strong enough? Can they make it even when they are already down 3-1 in the console units, selling? Because they have not got, they don't have the same sales as PlayStation console. That's undeniable. So they have a lot of ground to cover in that. If they can make a performing system that is noticeable difference and it's reliable, we all know the issues with the 360. The Xbox One was pretty solid, though. I have to give them that. So if they can combat that and make a good unit that's going to be price point the same and better, they could win this console war absolutely. But we have to wait and see what the price points are and what it actually looks like when it gets down on there. Because looking better on paper is one thing, but when you actually put hundreds of hours onto a console, is it going to will it last? Will we get the red ring of death? You know what I mean? So we have to look out for that. And PlayStation's always been pretty solid with their devices. Knock on wood, real quick. Let me just. There we go. So yeah, you know what I mean. Anyways, though, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Do you think that which one are you going to go with? You're going to go with the Xbox? You're going to go with the PlayStation? And more importantly, are you going to switch? I want to know who is going to switch from PS4 to Xbox, from Xbox to PS4. I want to know what it's all about. Who's buying both? Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think, all right? So appreciate you guys hanging out for the video. We kind of talked about this a little bit. I hope you guys have a better understanding of what's going on here. And let me know if you guys got any questions in the comments down below, all right? Thank you so much for coming out. Make sure you subscribe to my channel for the illest to realest content in the game. Make sure you smash that like button. You guys stay dangerous. See you in the next one. Peace out.